was kind of crafted the beginning and getting people started. And then I kind of wanted to be an open book from there. I mean, we have different skill levels in here, and my goal would be for us to each kind of create a project today. And then basically I can help out with different techniques and kind of make things a little easier for everybody as well. To start out, I just want everybody to think about this in the beginning of the presentation, because by the time we're done today, I really want you guys to kind of have an understanding of what the possibilities are with this. And then just being able to leverage this into your business, your organizations, and things like that. So what is Canva used for? I got this definition offline. Canva makes designing beautiful, creative assets easy for everyone, from social media images, videos, and GIFs to posters, websites, booklets, and multimedia presentations. Basically what Canva can be is holistically what your business needs. So a lot of times that can be social media, that can be templates, that can be print advertisements. And what we're gonna go through today is really figuring out, the different ways to go about that. If that's, setting up a PDF and sending it over here to George, or if you are going the digital route and going, like a JPEG or SVG file. So we'll go into that a little bit, and it's, and we'll just talk through that as well. So how many of you guys are familiar with like Photoshop, Illustrator, and some of those things? Okay. How many, have you guys played in Canva? No. Raise your hand if you've used Canva. Okay. So basically, a lot of times Illustrator and these higher level platforms, they do a lot of stuff, and they do some really cool things. Sometimes it gets a little overcomplicated, to be honest. You're sitting there like, I was playing with something the other day, and you're moving it like an inch, and it's just driving me nuts. Canva is a really good opportunity to kind of get creative, but without having those technical things that you need to do on the back end. What I like about Canva is it's extremely low cost. You can customize everything. You can even do SVG files in here, logos, things like that, and it is extremely easy to use. What I want to do today is just, again, we're going to take a step back, go through all this together, but I'm going to show you guys a lot of tips and tricks on ways to make it really easy to use. Because when you're designing it, you can kind of get stuck in a rut sometimes, especially when you're trying to do that next social media post that you've done 15 for the last week. Just really trying to get that point across, but then you can go there and get a different frame of reference and bring up, good things from there. So what I wanted to do first off, okay, so those of you, does everyone have a Canva account? Do you have a Canva account? I want to get you guys set up by setting up branding, inviting your team, and basically putting together the fundamentals to start. So when we're looking at this, the reason I say set up branding, I think, is the #1 most important thing. With the pro version, you'll get what's called a brand kit. Are you guys familiar with the brand kits? Right? Okay, so basically, when it comes down to it, for your business or organization, no matter what, you want to have a consistent, they call it like beating the drum. You know how Nike with the swoosh, or Subaru with safety, or you understand what that company is based off their design, their logos, their fonts. But by setting up your initial brand kit, you don't have to worry about going forward and not being on brand. Because the subtle font change will really just subconsciously, change people's mind. I remember we did this, and it was this thing in class where they did basically like Adidas, Nike, and I think it was Reebok, and their fonts. It was just A, B, C, D. And we knew it exactly because of what they were able to do. But that is the power of setting up the brand kit. I wouldn't even do anything until you do that. I will tell you, so the brand kit is for the pro version. That is it's $12.99 a month, but you can get around this. So what we did at first, to honestly cut costs in the beginning, what you're doing, and I'll show you guys how to do it, but you can create a brand book in Canva to use back into Canva. So like, for instance, the brand book is literally just gonna have your colors, your fonts, your tone of voice, everything that basically makes up your brand. And I've got to the point when I first started working with Canva and started working in the marketing field, I had my brand guide, and our brand guide at the time was like 15 pages. It was stapled all over my desk. So at any time I was looking at something, I looked at my brand guide and then I wrote. I looked at my brand guide and then I wrote. That is your basis, your principle, your value. You know, it really comes back to that. So when you are making that decision on what should I do for this next creative design, you go back to the fundamental, because that's where people can see the drum. So that's, any questions surrounding the brand kit? I will get into it to show you guys what it looks like and stuff. You know, we can kind of set it up, but again, this is more like along the lines of understanding your brand and going through that, but Canva does a great job of that. The next section is super explanatory, but just invite your team. With the Pro version, you've got up to 5 seats, but honestly, with the free version, and you can do whatever you like, but I've seen people share that, you know, their logins for that. I can't recommend it, but that is an option for the free version as well. From there, just simply choosing the project. So again, Canva, because of the possibilities, you run into, okay, what do I do next? I've got my logo, I've got my brand guide, I've got this design, so it's just sitting down, thinking through, and I've put together a list of just good starting points. And we'll go through that as well, but basically, my big starting points are logo, brand guide, which goes back to this, and then from there, a letterhead, and from there, social media templates. We'll dive into social media templates a little bit, but it's gonna make, that just makes your social media so much easier, and you can get things going a lot quicker. All right, and the last one is just creating a design. At this point, I do wanna ask you guys, is there anything in particular that you guys want to focus on in this? Is it print, is it digital? Is there any projects you guys have outstanding? Anything you can think of? Well, I can bring some projects, and what we'll do too is, so part of today, I'm gonna actually be designing a get started with Canva checklist while we're doing this. But I want you guys to start work, if you know, since if you have your laptops and stuff, and I think you can even do it on the phone. Yeah, and you can do so much. I use my iPad, and you can do a lot with it as well. I mean, it is, and honestly, you're sitting in front of the TV a lot of times, and it's just really cool to understand the different things. But do you guys have your projects that you're working on? You guys need any ideas or anything? You good? All right, well, what we'll do, basically, so I do want to start it out with just kind of going through what it looks like and what we're going to be doing. So let's see. I want to show you guys first off the brand kits. So this is what I was talking about right here on the side. Do you see, sorry, right here, brand? So this section right here, it's again, this is for the Pro version, but it's a very helpful section because what you can do is, so for instance, here is our brand integrity marketing. It's got our logo and actually the past 2 logo designs, and it holds it within there. So once we get into the design phase, it'll make a lot more sense as to why this is important. But honestly, the biggest 2 things are right here, colors and the fonts. When you go to add text, add titles and stuff like that, it will automatically have it, and it'll automatically add your colors to it. So once we're looking at these design elements, that's what we're gonna really focus on. Any questions with this? Again, this is just, you know, the Pro version, but what you could do is easily just grab out these elements, put them beside your computer, put them anywhere, but just make sure you understand going back to your brand elements. Let's see. So the one other thing I do want to and I do think it's important, and this is something, one of the newer things that Canva's introduced with the content planner. So a lot of times you could use like Buffer or some of the other apps to schedule your social media, but a lot of times you're creating in Canva. So if you create in Canva, now you can just go to Content Planner and simply do your social media at that point. So you can do it right through here, and this is a really good way to schedule social media, again, using those social media templates through Canva to do this. I will caution on this. I mean, it's good. You may still want to go to the platform to get the analytics. That's nothing crazy there. This will post it, but I would probably go to business.facebook.com to get the analytics or something like that, depending on which platform you're using. All right, but at this point, so when you are creating the designs, you're basically going through, and again, remember the part I said was, think about what design you want, because when we click this button, it's gonna just drop down with unlimited things that you can do. So I like to go very specific before I get here because I get overwhelmed if I try to go this route. So again, you create, and you can go, there's just so many automatic dimensions. Again, what I really focus on too are the Facebook cover, logo, flyer, and then presentations. So those are just different, really just upfront ways you can pretty much do everything from there. But the thing that I see underutilized is this Facebook cover and LinkedIn cover. I mean, you see how easy it is. You just literally, they give you the dimensions. It tells you how to do it, and once I show you how to do this, you're gonna realize this is how it starts to kind of come in together. So again, we're just gonna decide what to do here. Do you guys have any preference to what we wanna do first? I'm done. Well, how about we do, let's do a Facebook cover. So the first thing I do here, so we automatically, if we go down here again, we have our logos because it's already put in. But that's again, I just want to preface, that is the pro version. With the other version, you'll just simply have to just grab it from your uploaded images. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So did you upload that logo, or you created it fully in Canva?
So we created it, and it was literally in Canva. Well, it was kind of a combination of Canva and Illustrator. So like, basically I drew this in Illustrator, cut it up, and then we brought it into Canva and then designed it the way we wanted to do it. This first logo right here, this was our kind of our OG one. We did this one right here in Canva as well. And so, I mean, this is all Canva.
So how do you add a logo? How do you add a logo?
So you see right here, upload your logo.
Okay.
It's awesome.
Okay.
It is so cool. And especially,
I'm sorry.
Oh, no. This is perfect. And if you do too, so like, let's say you have multiple organizations, right? You can literally just throw all the brand kits in here, and it makes it so much easier to do it like that. You know, you can just switch between them. So like when you're working on different people, you don't have to worry about, that's where I would recommend, if you have multiple things you're working on, the pro version is good, because otherwise you are bringing it in every time. Just kind of, that would be the big thing there. That was great. And you'll see here too, so like for instance, the text, you see it already has our branding text right here, and we just click on it and start typing. This is, really easy there. But I want to show you guys, so what I do, just personal, when I come into something like this. I don't know about you guys, but I like to get inspiration. I can't just pull it out of nowhere. I have to really kind of figure out what's going on. I like to think around the back end of it. Okay, what is the purpose? What are we trying to drive to? What are the thoughts that we're doing? So we're doing a Facebook cover, so I immediately come up to design. In design, it gives you ideas, different things that you can already work with. So let's say I want to do like real estate, right? I literally just typed in real estate. It brought up all of these awesome designs. All designs that you can start from and make your own very easily. So what I'll do, let's say we can do this one.
Little templates
What was that?
or projects?
And templates on the left-hand side.
Yep. Like up here it says design and then templates. Okay, I can help you.
So what other category I was interested in, say if it was travel, up there, it's gonna be a bunch of templates and all for them.
Oh my gosh, there's so many times I come in here, I'm like, how do they have something for this? Here's a travel one right there.
Yeah, he was over
And it's
here.
that easy to be able to just come through, make these adjustments, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna dissect, like, so I put this up here, and then I dissect all of them to figure out what elements are on here. So basically, I'm looking at this right now, I'm gonna double click on the background, so now I know that's a photo that's covering that whole thing. So therefore, I mean, this one right here is just text and the photo itself. And it's like that, yeah, and so it just, you know, it really gives you that kind of, okay, this is kind of where I want to go, this is my feel, and then on top of that, you know, you guys, you know when you watch a Capital One commercial, they do it really, they have like a blue tint behind everything they do. You want to see how they do it? So what they do is they hit this transparency, and then what they do is they come behind with their brand color, and they just put it right behind it. So this is a good way, so like, ours are not as defining colors, but like a red or something like that. A lot of times a blue looks good, but it really just, I see it, subliminal, you know, it's like just a, but that's, all that is the transparency, but we'll dive into that a little bit.
I mean, you could even go a little bit deeper with
Okay.
Jennifer stuff.
Even just,
Yeah.
I thought you looked familiar from something, you wanted to give us classes.
And again, you can just, and this is, you'll see people just do this throughout, but that's a good way to kind of layer in your branding and just stuff like that. So at this point, let's say I just want to go ahead and download it. Okay, so this is definitely a crucial part of this. So when it comes to downloading, you know, and George, with printing and stuff, this is huge. Like, this is the biggest part. So let's say I want to send it to George. Well, first of all, I would call George and be like, hey George, how am I going to do the dimensions and stuff? But what you're going to do is you're going to come up here to share and download, okay? So then we're going to come into file type here, okay? And file types, I just like to think of it this way. PNG is super heavy but super clear. It's a nice image. JPEG is a little lighter. Lighter is in like data, you know, like storage that it takes. And so just sometimes too, if you send out an email with a PNG versus a JPEG, it might end up in their spam folder because it's heavier. So those are some things that you want to do there. And SVG is it's kind of, it's like, so if you ever want to, would you guys want an SVG?
It's like vector.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like if you're gonna do something big,
Okay.
like a banner or something, you want it to look clean in large size, that would be.
Okay. And because you can.
It actually does the vector art?
Mm-hmm. So you right here, and so SVG. Yeah, and it's cool too. Because what I do a lot of.
SVG?
So like additional side of things, if you're ever gonna put it in Illustrator, run it from here, from SVG, because you can grab each individual element in Illustrator. If you know we're going down that route, but these are the selections. I probably should have had these open as I was explaining them. But so JPEG. So again, it literally says best for sharing, best for sending it out, best for complex images. PDF standard, best for documents and emailing. PDF print is best for printing. SVG is best for web design and animations. MP4, video, and you can do GIFs. These two down here are kind of like the motion effects.
So you mentioned that SVG is good for web.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're working with WordPress, because that's a super easy program, should I still be using SVG, or am I still okay to get away with PNG and JPEG?
Okay, what I would do, I go PNG,
Okay.
and then go to here, Cloud Convert right here, cloudconvert.com. Here, I'll walk in, I'll show you. But what we're gonna do is, so the new format for web is WebP.
WEPG
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah, so what you'll do is literally just come in here. You can do up to 5 at a time for free. I'll dump like hundreds of these things, so I do pay, but I mean, like for instance, let's say I wanted to take this. So what I'm doing is I'm downloading this, And so, because I wanted it as a PNG, so if I'm going to put it in the website, I'm gonna add it here, and I'm gonna convert it to WebP. WebP is basically the PNG of web design, and it's super light. That's where everybody's kind of going for the web design and stuff like that.
And what's great about it is people can't steal your logos and stuff like that off your website if you convert it to the WEBG.
It makes it very difficult. Yeah.
I mean, I still can, but it's
Yeah.
gonna be low res.
Dude, yeah, and that's what it does, and it'll mess with the dimensions too.
Yeah.
It's really, but that's a good way to use that. But so that's why these things are extremely important to understand, but they're not.
That's why you can't copy and paste, John.
On some websites, you can't copy and paste because they've converted it so that you can't grab their photos. And it's just because there's so many companies out here right now that are pirating websites and taking your content, and then they're taking that content and putting it in an email and sending it to you saying that, hey, you got a bad password on your on your bank account. You need to you need to log in, and so this eliminates the ability for them to be able to steal that logo off your website and send it to somebody else to try to scam them. So
You can still get that logo.
you still can,
It's a
but
long process, but you can still get it.
Yeah, but so just understanding these, this is the main kind of mix up. You see like shorts and reels and stuff on Instagram, more times than not, they're GIFs. And then MP4 is just a video itself, so. But that's kind of the makeup with a lot of these things. You know, it follows this basic pattern. You run through here. What I like to do too, okay, I do want to talk about maybe some, just some design element things that'll help out when you are designing. So first of all, it's a Z rule or an F rule. It's weird kind of how it works, but the F1 is more, it's coming up like more on the digital side with websites. But when people read, especially in America, we read and we watch like this. So ultimately, having your logo in the bottom right corner is where they're gonna finish up. So that's the Z in there. It's like the Z, but what they're saying now, and this is something that after I learned the Z one, I think it was a couple of years, but it's websites now, they're reading like an F. Like they're coming down first and then going over, probably because of columns and stuff like that. But a lot of, so you'll always see me, logo goes there. That's where, because that's where they're going, and ultimately, you're kind of trying to point them there when you're designing these things. So ultimately, like a lot of these elements, like for instance, this one's perfect. It leads you right there. You'll notice this with a lot of different designs in commercials and stuff like that. They're walking you to that next step. They're walking you to, they're guiding your consumer. So just, it's a good design tactic to understand. Helps out a lot there.
So they read your details first, and your logo's at the bottom.
Yeah. So, and then the last thing they remember, right there. I do, you might have seen, I do this a lot just to make sure that we have a clear defining factor at the end. Cause like, let's say I just threw our logo right there. It kind of looks weird. Nobody's gonna see
it gets lost.
Yeah, it gets lost. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this, this triangle, I like to do this, run it out, and then I'm basically just gonna make it white. So a high contrast now shows my logo. So just by kind of understanding those elements, it goes a long way.
How'd you hide the contrast again?
So all I did was,
You added an element.
Yeah, element.
Okay.
This is, because you can get photos in here, you can get like all sorts of designs you can do. Like Haley and I were doing this design, she used this one right here, and it was like doing this like graphic art painting. You can do so much stuff with it. But yeah, so that's, and a lot of times, so that's under lines and shapes. And that one's really, you can do, honestly, you can do most of them. I pretty much use square, rectangle, and a triangle. That's it. Do you guys have any questions? I think I've got one other thing that's gonna be really cool. what we'll do, so I wanna show you guys an element that comes in and we can update. So, part of why Canva is so great is it snaps in photos. So we're gonna just literally drag the photo over and it's gonna pop right in. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna delete that. And you see this right here? I can put anything in here. Anything. Like, so like for instance, I wanna design this design, I can just, let's say, now I come over to elements, let's say the football game's coming up, so, or actually just happened, so we'll do football. And so we can come down, so graphics, it's more of like an animated thing. Photos, videos. The videos are good, audios are good, because audio is really good actually. And then, but you can do photos, and what I'm gonna do is simply drag right there. And it does the exact design that was already there. So again, by using the design template that they've created for us, we've now created a totally different, it has this different meaning, it has all sorts of different things. So just, and by the way you find those elements are coming down, and you see here it says frames or grids. So anything that has that design in it, you can throw photos into it. So like for instance, I'm a big fan of, like, you know how when websites will do like this. It's like, okay, hey, I wanted a picture of my website, just see what it looks like on there. You know, you can just simply just copy, put it in there. See, I just copied, I'm gonna go to uploads, and then I'm just gonna grab it for my screenshot. And now, that easy, but like for instance, we're gonna do something coming up where we're showcasing all the websites we built. I'm gonna do this with a tablet and a phone, and that's how we're gonna design it. And then I'm gonna remove the background and put it on the sites. Any questions on this one? And again, they have them like all of this. There's desktop, phone. The phone one's really cool, but I will tell you, so when you do this, make sure that you take a screenshot on your phone, not on your computer. I was getting so mad. And I finally realized, yeah, I just need to do that, not my desktop. So like that's kind of, that one goes a long way.
Because it automatically compresses the picture so that you don't get all of the picture, only what can fit into that screen. So
it bunches it up a
Yeah.
lot. But it's a really cool thing. So if anybody, you see it a lot too, and it's a good way to show like, you can do technology, you're up with the times and stuff like that. So that's a good representation. But yeah, those are kind of the main things I wanted to talk about with you guys there. I wanted to kind of play with a project. So I was gonna do the, just getting started with Canva, but I'll build the checklist. So what I'm thinking is if you guys wanna work on your projects and then just help me with this checklist, you guys will be able to see kind of how we build it. I can give you guys some of the computer to do it too, depending on what y'all are thinking.
don't be shy.
Yeah, I just wanna make
Use
sure.
his expertise
Yeah,
while you can.
We can help out, and I mean, because we can design, like for instance, what we need to do is we need to do a checklist. So again, I'm just gonna create design. I'm gonna type in, actually checklist is right there. And the cool thing is, so now I can look at all of these designs that are checklists. So now I'm just trying to match up my design and just go from there. I mean, there's, what I like to do beforehand, like before we did this presentation and stuff, I wrote everything out. Like exactly how I wanted it. Cause you'll notice like, for instance, this one, I could get 4 things out of it. This one, I could get a lot more out. So I'm gonna match it up based off that, because I know I'm gonna change the whole design anyway. I'm gonna literally, so what I wanna show you guys too is, so like for instance, during the holidays where everybody has to pump out a bunch of content, it's like, you have to do it. Like and becomes very monotonous. But you do something like this, just simply take it and then you can update the elements around it. So let's see here. So it looks like
You know, with you, Chubbs, you might be putting out a checklist for people to get ready for how to do a savings account, how to do, you know, getting ready,
exactly what I was thinking.
you know, how to do financial planning or something like that. You know, real estate, you can do what, you know, people need to start gathering together in order to get their loan documents together or something like that. You know, churches, it's endless what, you know, we definitely need to have. You know, it could be an event that you're gonna have at the church or something like that, and they have to bring in, you know, socks, or they have to bring in coats or shoes or whatever, and you can put into that checklist all those things. You know, with Kiwanis, you know, with the shrimp feast, you know, how many sponsors, how many, you know, with the golf tournament and things like that. And then, like I said, it's so easy to just share it and then send the file over to somewhere like Owen Printing, and it has the crop marks on it and everything, makes their job easy. They don't have to charge you a design fee, and
That's how we did our business cards. I literally called George. It's like, George, what do I need to do?
We like the easy button,
Yeah.
wherever we can get it, yeah, that's right.
I mean, I send it to Beth, and Beth goes, "All right, John."
Oh yeah. Well, and another thing too, for educational stuff, infographics go a long way. You know, they're really cool designs too, but they go, I mean, they do some really cool stuff. Like for instance, look at this one on mitosis. You know, there's so many different, here, I wanna do let's do travel again. It's like, look at this. This is a preparation for travel infographic that's already designed. And basically what you wanna do, you definitely wanna grab your own stuff from here. But if we were branding this for integrity, I would go in the background and simply update everything with our colors. So again, I know that this is
And you
transparent.
change pictures in a circle.
Yeah, exactly. And that's it. You see the circle?
Yep, and then you put Alaska or whatever.
Yep. And you can, like anything. And it's so cool because you're just replacing it.
Now, if you do have design elements in the background too, that you're trying to drag over, sometimes when you're dragging a picture over into your design, it'll blow it out to the entire design.
Like this.
So,
Yeah, I just did that to me.
so,
Yeah. And so some of the hotkeys you'll want to understand are just like Control Z goes back,
yeah, so sometimes
stuff like that. I mean, it's very, but
change that.
also if you ever mess anything up, so right here,
Oh, your undo button.
undo button's awesome.
What did you say?
This there's an undo button. Undo. It's like a
Undo.
back button. Yeah,
Okay.
that's a lifesaver.
It was small, but when I put this ever, I did it
This
twice.
also this one, the resize button, but that's again, this is a pro feature. Resize button is amazing. Because like for instance, when you're doing ads or something, like for instance, we do a Google ad set, we do like 15 different designs, but they're all different sizes because of different ads. You literally click
Yeah.
resize.
There, because the where your eye is, so you always wanna pull from the corner.
And now it just stretches it out. I'm gonna have to basically take this.
It makes the design stretch out
See if I've got all that.
Like-
because you got your minus and your plus right above it to zoom in.
Oh no, look.
So it makes the whole design bigger.
Look.
Okay.
So this
Oh, I was
is
looking
that
at
one,
that.
and then
Okay.
it rescales
So you
it.
can also-
Oh, okay, got it.
It's so amazing.
So
Like
you make a mistake.
two, for
Okay.
instance,
You can always
Instagram and
undo
Facebook are
any
two different designs, two different
As
sizes.
long as you
You
don't
can
get
literally create one in Facebook
Okay.
and then resize it for Instagram, and that's boom done. You know, make it a lot easier. And honestly, if you guys want, I think a really big important part of Canva are creation of social media templates. So yeah, it's just, I'm gonna show you guys. So basically what we'll do is, I'm trying to think of a good way. So like for instance, we worked with an organization that did like Wednesday what happens type situation, or type social media posts, like what happened in Wednesday or stuff like that. So you create a design for that and then leave one of these in the background, okay? And then just take a photo and update it every week. It's not a big change, you update the text, you know, so it is different, but you have the same header or footer on the bottom, same design in the background, same overlay. But then when people are looking at it through social media, it's, oh, I know that that is the Wednesday thing because that is, but at the same time, it makes it easier for you. So it's like kind of beating the drum and making it easier for you. What we do whenever we were doing social media, we basically put together like 8 different templates and go from there. You know, because therefore you can always have the one-offs, but then at that point you have it structured, ready to go, and then the one-offs just fill in the spots. So that's all the fun stuff with those. But yeah, so it's really kind of understanding, you know, what you want to do first, then coming to Canva. I would always, again with printing, it definitely pays to talk to the experts, because when you're doing it, the first time I reached out to George, I just hit download and I did not click crop marks and bleed. And if you don't click that, then they don't like you too much. You know, it's like, because what they want is, and it looks really cool. Here, I'll show you. And it shows you exactly where it's going to crop them and do basically and if you want to explain that, what is crop and bleed exactly?
Oh, crop marks just show where the knife is gonna cut. And bleed is on anything where the color goes to the edge of the sheet. You can't print to the edge of paper, so you actually just print a little bit beyond on a larger sheet of paper where it's gonna trim. Then that gets trimmed away. So a little sliver of color gets trimmed away all the way around. We call that bleed because the color's bleeding off. But without that, if the image was the actual finished size, there'd be no way when we go to trim it down that you can trim it so perfectly that the knife is going to go right where that edge, where that color breaks. So you add a little extra color to go beyond, so you get a nice clean look.
Cause like if you print it
Like a
off on a
border
printer right
type?
now, you have
It
that
just
white border.
stretches the color out a little, about 1/8 of an
Okay.
inch all the way around.
Because I know I've had that problem before when I said it was stuffed about.
Yeah,
And you can see the crop marks in there, so
we
you can
didn't
see
do
where
the
it's
crop
gonna cut.
marks when we sent it to Beth, so they had no idea where, well, they did, but they didn't, where to cut.
So how do
So-
you add the crop marks again?
So I
Sorry.
went, no, don't be sorry. It took me a while to figure out. Like, I don't know why it took me so long. It's literally right here.
In your download.
Yeah, so after
Oh,
you hit
okay.
download.
And
Okay, now,
Mm-hmm.
say I've designed the flyer the way I want it, and now I want to send it to maybe 100 people
Mm-hmm.
in an email. Here it is, here's your information. What's involved there?
So that's a great question. So you've got options, okay? So you're sending it to them via the email. It depends on how you want them to view it. Do you want them to click on it and view it, or do you want it to be in the email?
I
And
want it to be in the email,
In the body?
in the body of the email?
in the body, well, let me say, you send it, and then when they get it, they open up the attachment.
Okay, so that's a PDF.
Okay.
So that,
Can you
Yep.
do it both ways? And I'm not to, I know exactly what she's describing, and we have this happen at work as well. We'll try to embed whatever we've got in the PDF, we'll do like a screenshot of it and embed it into the body of the email, because my employees don't open attachments.
nice.
But when you do it, like anything, if you've ever gotten an email and there's an icon on there, and it's like you gotta click it to get to it, or sometimes you click it, it won't even reveal itself. So now they have to go open the attachment. A lot of people don't open attachments because they're not sure if they're safe or not.
Right, because they say, you know, I don't see the attachment. Well, you gotta click on.
Yeah.
And of course, now it's gotten so, you know, you're leery of opening up anything. But when I send it to them, my name is there.
Yep.
Though, look, I get scam mail from people that I know very well. And what it is, there's no way, this is a scam.
Last we said, it's like you cloned it, cloned your.
You could,
This
you
is
could
what
do
you
both.
Well, there's millions of people too,
I would
there's
do
millions of
JPEG.
people too that don't know how to use their Outlook.
So the JPEG will show up
Because Outlook
in your
tries to
email
compress
versus
everything so that you don't
a
have to
PDF.
see all the video and everything all
Okay,
the
cause
time.
that's what we're running
And
into
so,
with
or the
PDF.
picture on it all the time. And
Even
so
if
you
I
have
take
to
the
hit up
screen
at the
from
top
something, it still
where it
records
says
it. I
download
mean, it's
pictures.
just not visible.
And so
on
they don't see
everybody
the
like
pictures
you do
unless
on
they
your
hit that
phone
download
Or
picture.
iPad. Sometimes it'll show up on
And
your
Outlook.
desktop, but it won't on your phone, if it's in the
So-
bucket.
Cloud
So that's why a lot of people, when they get my emails,
And see, I've
They
got
go,
Adobe Professional.
well, I can see the
so
text,
I'll
but I
actually
can't
just
see the
convert it
pictures.
when I do that, but
Because they never
so that's
put
what
up at
we're
the top
screwing
where
up.
it
We're just
says
leaving it in PDF
download
versus
pictures.
converting it.
Yeah.
Because it's trying to keep your computer running smoothly, it's only going to show the text in your email.
Brody, what does it default
So-
to as far as when you're starting to draw? Is it PNG or do you set it? as to what you-
Default is PNG and download,
Okay.
Yeah, it automatically does, but you can set it in the back.
especially when you do it on your phone.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And you download, it automatically downloads a PNG unless you go into the sections where you can change it to a PDF or whatever, so.
Yeah, but it will, so what I have noticed too, so like this one, I have an infographic, and it is recommending I do a PDF print because it's saying that that's best for it. And then it's doing an RGB color, which is a little bit, it's nothing crazy, but, see, it tells you best for digital use, CMYK, best for professional printing. And is that,
That's right.
okay?
They require me to read.
Yeah.
I just go, oh, I'm supposed to say
Yeah,
that.
it sounds good. Yeah.
Well, it's nice to
It'll
know
look good.
so you don't have to really read much, just go with the best use.
It recommends it. I mean,
That'll
it's-
look real good on
it's
your
great.
screen.
Yeah, and,
Right.
and I love this too, so like, for instance, once you start working on teams and stuff like that,
Yeah.
you can share with other people. Like right there, I just clicked on this plus button, and I can share this to somebody. Like Brian sends me stuff all the time, and we edit on the same Canva platform, but through different ones. It's kind of like a Word doc, basically. But it's so you can both work
It's
on
collaborate.
It is, and then
And
you'll
you
get
can see it collaborate as
so
you're doing it.
funny. Yeah.
Because me and Bev have been on it at the same time, and she goes, hey, what do you think about this? And I start moving stuff around, and she goes, hey, how'd you do that?
Leave my stuff alone.
That's funny.
I don't know if I wanna share, Bill Humphries.
Oh, yeah. No, Bill will come up with some awesome
Yeah.
ideas. That will be.
He's got good ideas,
Yeah.
but the application of it.
His fat fingers, and we're on video too.
Yeah. He's the man. Well, he's awesome. He'll do some good stuff.
You're amazing, Bill.
He is. But no, I mean, because when you share too, it's cool because you can see everybody's edits. You can see kind of what's going on, and basically, it's good to catch up with everybody.
Now, when you're hitting that plus, is that your team? Or can it be, they don't have to be a part of your team in order to?
So
Sure.
I've worked with people that aren't part of my team. And like, for instance, Brian and I work on multiple projects, but we're not on the same team right now.
Okay.
But it's interesting kind of how the teams work. But again, with the pro, you get up to 5 people. We have like 3 people on at a time. It's nothing crazy.
Right.
So I noticed the copy link. So it says link sharing restricted, so I could copy the link and send it to someone so they could view it but not edit it, is that
Right.
right?
Mhm.
That I would be willing to do.
Yeah, and it's.
And they can send you notes back into it, I think, also.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
When you send the link, they can send you notes back on the,
Mhm.
document saying, hey, can we make this smaller, or can,
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, so there's really, it's a collaborative space, and they're doing more too. Like I said, the social media thing wasn't around all the time, so they're just gonna continuously add on to it. I was really surprised, yeah, the social media thing, it's just clutch, you know, cause you can do it right there. Again, the analytics side, I would still go to your analytics to look at that, but I think that's a really great option.
So to recap what you said about that was that you can actually schedule this off of this platform to go to your social media?
So what you'll do.
Because I was actually looking at a program that would schedule those, and I prefer not to pay for it.
well, Business Suite does it on Facebook also,
Yep.
where you can schedule.
But you can schedule it just on Facebook, you can't get it to schedule. for
It goes
social.
Facebook and Instagram.
Oh, it does on Instagram, okay.
That's where I would go, because you've got the analytics there, you've got the insights there, and that's it's business.facebook. So it's like a whole, it looks really cool. I mean, they've got.
Yeah, download Business Suite. It tells you when you post it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. It's nice.
So can you show us how to do a QR code?
Yes. Okay, so we've got options here. So the QR code is not a mystery, crazy, hard thing to do. It's not like, it's really easy, depending on, especially on the platform that you have too. So, I mean, there's so many different ways. First of all, if
You can do it off of Canva, correct?
you can do it off Canva, you can.
It's just a basic one on
Yeah.
Canva.
So there's a bunch of options. So what I like to think about when you're doing QR codes, okay, I love QR codes, they're awesome, but if you don't know who clicked on them, they're not efficient. So my big thing is, if you're gonna do QR codes, know how many worked and which ones didn't. So what we're doing with like a bunch of people right now is, they're doing all these different QR campaigns. They're all different QR codes. Technically, nobody really knows, but we know, and we're figuring out which one works the best. So just get a system. So I like this, where this is going, because this is basically, so QR codes, so I like to think of it as like a fingerprint kind of thing, because basically what you're doing, you can track pretty much everything. You can see where they're coming from and stuff like that, again, because that's efficiencies. I would recommend going a step beyond QR codes if you're gonna do that, and get a CRM, a customer relationship management system that has that, and that can help you with that. They're not all expensive either. They're not at all. Like MailChimp's a good one. HubSpot is free up to a certain point, but they have, so instead of just having the QR code, you literally now have got their name, their date of birth, their whatever, and you can really start to figure out what your client base is. So yes, QR codes, you can, I mean, we could go to a QR code generator and they could do it. But you know, what you really want to focus, like anywhere can do it. Like right here, they'll do it right here for free. But then we don't know what is happening.
You don't capture the information that
Yeah,
who
there's
scanned your
statistics.
QR.
And it's good.
So tell us the advantage of that, because the way I'm using this is, if I don't create it, or John creates it for me to go to our Square account for Kiwanis golf tournament.
Yeah.
Tell me the benefit of knowing who clicked on that. Is that gonna benefit me for like Kiwanis?
What I would do, like for instance, so like for instance, you give a flyer out to all the businesses in the area. They get a QR code. The next thing is you do a mailing. There's a QR code there. You go to an event and have a handout. That's a QR code.
You know whether your mailer got you the money, whether you got the money from restaurants, whether you got it from wherever. But if you're just doing a free one,
It's coming from anywhere.
you have no clue. Even in Canva, you can't track who clicked on your Canva QR code.
Okay.
So, I mean, but it's great and it's easy. So if you're only doing one form of advertisement, which we try to say, make sure you're pushing your stuff out in all the different ways, and then you can track how you actually got your return on your investment. So you don't want to, so with the paid versions of his QR code trackers, and CRM managers, you can see, okay, well, radio got me, or, you know, because you've got the headers on the radio stations now, you know, you got so many people that hit that one. On a flyer that you put out in restaurants, you got so many, things like that. Analytics is so important to everybody's business, that if you're not doing it, you're losing out on money, and you just keep doing the same thing over and over again, and have no idea whether it's working or not.
And next year you could eliminate one that didn't work. You know, and that's basically, and it all kind of comes into a CRM system. And again, Google, you could even manage through Google Contacts. It's just making sure you have your analytics, and that's another awesome topic. That's I love that topic, but it just that's what I would do as far as the social, the QR codes. But again, like we said, if you are just doing one campaign, like just to start, that's not, there are ways around it as well. It's a little bit more technical, but like set up, it's called a UTM code on that QR code that you would see in your analytics report, which is a roundabout way, which is why I would say a CRM would be cool, because you do that, it automatically tracks it for you.
And just for instance of real estate, you might have somebody who might have really loved the house you had, but it sold quickly, but you didn't capture all of their information, and you had another house come up on the same street just like it,
Yeah.
that you could have went back to that customer and said, hey, sorry you missed out on this house, but I've had this house that just listed, let's jump on it. So, and same with you, Chubbs, if somebody's, maybe not ready to do a CD or something like that, and then, the bank says, hey, we got this great new CD that's, gonna pay 3% on their money versus the 0.5% that you were gonna give them the first time. You can capture their information, and I know you're through regulations and stuff like that, and you have to, be careful of what kind of information you can capture on them,
And you can do it and be very upfront with them. Like whenever we do these things, we make sure they know, like, this is what we are getting your name, your email, and we're gonna reach out to you. I think that goes a long way by letting them know up front, because nobody wants to give
Be spam.
Yeah. But it's like, this is what we're doing. There's an unsubscribe at the bottom of the email that we're gonna be sending you if you at any time. You just letting them know up front. But that is the way things are going, is understanding the complete picture of what your business is doing. And that just goes a long way. But like, for instance, the Home and Garden Show, we created our own QR code just for that, because we wanted to see how successful the event was. And each event and thing you do, that was a good one. That was, and it just kind of comes back to it. And again, it all comes back to Canva, because for instance, what we do with QR codes, so what we would do normally is I'll create this element right here, right? Yep. And then I take it and I dump the QR code right into here, and it formats it perfectly in the bottom right corner of the printed thing that I want. Or like when we did our website or our business cards, I put a QR code that we track on our business cards, so I can see how many people it worked for there. It's just kind of understanding, those things. But like I said, MailChimp might be a really good way to start out with a lot of the CRM stuff, because this is it's very pertinent, but you guys see more and more that Google, Facebook, Instagram, all of them are really taking back what they, you have to push out what they want. And it's gonna continue to get that way, but you wanna make sure that you have your emails, your customers, that you can reach out to without having to go by their rules, or whatever rules, I'm just not a big fan, because there are certain things that can and can't be done per platform that are just very specific to those ones. So again, don't limit yourself, just make sure you have that customer list. I think that's kind of the big Canva class. Do you guys, any ideas, any thoughts, anything that you guys need help with?
So I'm working on a flyer, I'll be the guinea pig here. I'm working on a flyer with Bill, for our Tuesday night social for Kiwanis once a month. And so I've gone into Canva and I've done the last two, which the last one I did was very simplistic. For some reason, his daughter, who's in her 20s, says, hey, tell the person who made this. That was really cool, I liked it. And I was like, how is that any different? It was actually simpler than the first one I created, but it almost had like a 3D effect to it.
Well done.
Just weird font. And I was like, okay, but I've been sticking the logo in the top corner, and I've been doing what you showed an example of. I always have a color differential, because I have a brand book for Kiwanis, and I have to follow everything they have. And I have their logo, but I can put it wherever I want it. But I'm gonna be switching that logo to the bottom corner, just like you recommended, because I always stuck it to the right, thinking you read left to right.
And it makes sense. When they told me the Z thing, I was like, that's crazy. Like,
I love
I
that.
never even. But no, and I'm curious. Definitely let me know. And tell it back. I'm curious to see how that works because I think it should do a big difference. And then just constantly doing that same thing will just show they will understand. You're kind of training them to understand your brand.
Which kind of makes sense because the brand book that Kiwanis puts out, even they have pre-planned things like PowerPoint presentation slides. And when you look at the color matrix that they put up there, their logo's in the bottom corner. It never dawned on me until you said that. And I mean, this is a $1 million company, organization that's making this stuff up. So probably more than that, but they've started putting their logos in the bottom right corner of things. I thought it was an odd place.
Well, it's interesting you're saying that about the simplicity of the design too, because we were watching something the other day. We kind of nerd out on YouTube web design stuff for the year, but that is the trend that's coming back for this year. They're talking like simplicity with outlandish, crazy fonts and just wording that describes it but just leaves it open. I was like, that's odd, but that's the style. I like it. It's cool. Like, it's interesting to see kind of how people do different things, and you see that throughout this. As we've been working with Canva, the designs update. I mean, it's interesting to see they update with the times and stuff like that. Like last year was a lot of, remember that dark background with the high contrast colors that are kind of moving forward to? You see that on a lot of websites. That was last year's version, and it's interesting to see as they progress, they just are constantly building more stuff for us to use and stuff like that. That's cool. Well, and how's the flyer going?
We got 3 more people to come out to the meeting last month, so
Okay.
it worked.
That's awesome.
So now I'm trying to pull color themes that are simple, that would tie into the month. Like Valentine's Day, I want to make it look girly, because then you tend to appeal mostly to females than males. So I was trying to do that, the coloration to where it had more of that February theme and like a little bit of red. And I sent it to him and I was like, don't use that. It looks a little girlish. And I come back and said, we're calling it a social, and I've got a picture in there that I cropped down, and it was a picture of about 4 new people that came out to the meeting, and I realized really quickly it was saturated with 3 females and a male. And then I'm sticking it on this flyer that has like a pink hue to the background, just a very light hue with some red elements on the corners, and I'm like, and the word social is in it, and now it looks like it's a dating function, and I'm like, whoa, delete that. Redesign this a little bit. And I threw in some more white kind of elements, just small kind of haze elements over the corners of the red, just to kind of soften it, mute it out, and not make it look romantic. I guess is the flavor of it. So it looks more business based. So, but I'd already started on St. Patrick's Day and put a 4-leaf clover in one corner, and just kind of jazzed it up a little bit without going too far deep into design.
Well, and one suggestion too is make sure that not only are you putting the flyer out, that Bill's posting out on Facebook and things like that, but all of the events that are coming up for Kiwanis needs to be put on the events on Facebook.
Well, and
And so,
I'm in charge of social media, and luckily Jeff's been handling the weekly updates for
Right.
us. And I didn't even.
but not just on the page, but putting a event in it. So, because people will be searching for the events in town and they don't see the Kiwanis night social or whatever, the evening class or whatever, the evening club or whatever you want to call it. And so they just, go on to the next thing that they don't, that's happening. So with you guys, just trying to put it on a flyer, people might look at it and then they go on or whatever, or if it does capture their eye, they might stop and stay. But that's where you do the Facebook, not post, but the Facebook.
Post, yeah, like the
cover.
The cover, yeah, and so put that in your top screen as far as the event page,
Which
So-
is kind of good, because I don't know who created the flyer, but apparently I missed it in my email about a week ago. But somebody already created that, so it's not there for me to create. So I'm now trying to figure out, and it does take some work, and I can put it as a Facebook cover, but I have to go through a lot of cropping, a lot of, programming out, because I've got Adobe at work, I'll just kind of play with Adobe and like size it down, and then pop it up into the cover in there, so.
And it needs to go in Eventbrite, it needs to get,
Yeah.
so.
Well, and when you do the event, you can invite people. I don't know how many things I've gone to just because somebody invited me. It's like I felt bad. I hit yes, like that, and they'll do it too because you get that notification that day. Just by doing that, just that's awesome. And you could, and again, by using different QR codes, different things like that, you can really track a lot.
And with y'all having an LCAP, Rodrigo will give y'all gift certificates to give out, especially if you say, hey, if you come to this event, you'll get a free gift.
So what I did last time was I bought a 4-pack of Starbucks cards, and I just donated them, and I told Bill, I said, I'll do 2 for the next 2 months of our meeting, we'll put everybody's name in a drawing, and he literally tore pieces of paper and threw it in there, and I thought that'd be a better way to do that, I'll be prepared next time.
Yeah.
To where we're getting the person's name and phone number,
Yeah.
like drop it in the drawing, and that way we pull it, and then I'm gonna create a contact list at the end of those meetings. So I like that checklist thing, because I can turn that into a contact list.
If you can get an iPad, do a Google form, sign it. Because then you can grab all of that information. I'm telling you, because you're gonna count those and just be like, I am so mad at myself for making me count these.
Well, there's only about like 8 people that put their names
Okay,
in the
but-
bucket, so it's not big
Yeah.
yet, but.
But you can easily, like, that would be a really, easy way to do that. Plus, that would be cool too, like, because then Bill was saying he's trying to get, like, that crowd in and stuff like that. It's like, that would be a cool way, just like, oh yeah, typing it in.
Well, we had discussed with Michaela today that, the Tri-Cities Young Professionals or Southside Professionals or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That once they get established as far as having a core group coming to the meetings for the Southside Professionals, then to have like Kiwanis come in and present, or even have a resource like tables of Kiwanis and Rotary and Optimist Club, because all of them are trying to invite these guys to their meetings because they need young blood. And so if they invite these clubs to come and let their group know who they are and what they represent and why they should be a part of their club, you may get more interest into why to join Kiwanis, why to join.
And where's that young professionals group coming together?
You're in it as well, aren't you? Yeah. We met the other day.
Are y'all like in the Heights,
Yeah,
or are
I
you
got
like?
that call.
It's Tri-Cities.
Yeah, I stuck it. How do you go though?
We're restarting it, so pre-COVID, we had about 35.
I got Richard James and see what.
And then now, we're just restarting, I think y'all had 8 the other day or something like
And
that.
then, so 9,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
we have at least 10, and then there was like a good group before, so I mean.
But they're looking for service projects to do, like cleanup.
That's
and,
exactly what we're doing.
stuff like that. So,
That's exactly,
So not only am I a member of the Heights Kiwanis, I'm the lieutenant governor for the entire division,
Okay.
which there is 7 clubs in our division, going all the way to crew.
okay.
So Dinwiddie is a really young, small club. They've got like 14 people, and a lot of them are teachers and government workers in there, and they are dynamic. They do a ton of stuff. Cocoa has a club. Petersburg has a 100-year club. They just celebrated their 100 years. So there's all of them around here, and all of them are in the same situation. They're looking for young professionals, and I'm trying to, as lieutenant governor, to get some of those folks, because a lot of people are retiring in their careers now, and young professionals are who they need to learn from, incorporate, and have multi-generations. So, I mean, good to know.
Well, they're doing the 40 under 40, you can watch that as well, because they're gonna have the nominations and all the people out there as well.
we got 95 nominations for 40 under 40, the best 40 under 40 in the Tri-Cities. And so, so we're gonna incorporate that list that we got for the nominations and start inviting them to the young professionals group.
Okay.
And also, trying to build that group up. And so, And we're getting ready to have an award ceremony in Old Town Petersburg on April 6th. So we're gonna award the top 40 under 40 like we did in 2019. Chuck, you were a graduate of that class, right?
What's that?
The 2019 40 under 40?
No.
I thought you were. I know you were nominated, so,
Yeah.
and I know you were nominated too, weren't you?
I don't know.
In 19?
Maybe, I don't, that was at the Beacon, right?
Well, no, it was at the, EBD on, when it was EBD,
yes,
now it's
yes.
Chris. So,
That would be a good list of people too,
So, yeah.
that you can definitely reach out to. It sounds like everybody's kind of coming together too, so it's cool. The websites, we're getting it ready. We bought the domain and we're running through that, so
Nice.
all the fun stuff there.
yeah, so I'm excited for that group to get rolling and get working, so,
Excited for it too, man.
Mhm.
We're doing a bunch of help, it's nice that we're just coming together for all.
they've got a trivia night that's getting ready to happen at Trapezium, so,
Oh, yeah.
That's cool.
Mhm.
Chubbs, I think you're good for junior credit union.
Yes, ma'am.
You are a contact for me, because I'm actually the HR director for the city of Cool Heights.
Oh, nice.
So, I'm glad I was here tonight, so,
Yeah.
see, we're in two minds.
Okay, so I remember you said that there are, what, 3 levels of this here, the beginners, and of course it goes on.
the Canva.
Oh, Canva.
So,
If you're just starting out and trying to get the feel, because this is my first time, where do you suggest I start at the lower?
the
end?
free level,
Free.
The what?
the free level.
The free level, okay, and it's kinda like, play with it, read it, do this, do that, and do you,
So it still gives you some basic templates that you can have. It just doesn't give you the full-on versions of the free, of the paid templates, so.
I was, well, I set up my account just now, under my nonprofit that I started, and it actually says that you can use Canva for free if you have a nonprofit, like
I
for
can't
the
hear you.
church. As under nonprofits, Canva, you can get the premium for free. If you just upload the tax exempt status for your church, you'll get this full service without having to pay for it.
okay,
You can actually get the pro version for
Right.
free.
Right.
If
Which
you-
Kiwanis can too.
If you have, it's,
We'll talk about that later.
so you just got a tax exempt letter, that's all it asks for.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I thought it was dope when I
Yeah.
just now set it up and I was like,
We have filled
That's
that.
nice, I gotta go home and find my letter.
where am I in that?
Yeah.
In your app store.
Before we
Look
start.
for Canva Pro.
But you can still do it on your computer.
It's Canva Pro.
I would say that looking at the extremes, I mean, it makes sense, this is definitely more robust
Oh, yeah.
on the computer.
Because I'll show you.
But simple, yeah. It's simple. Once I get like your logo up and stuff. This is lit, man. I was telling you, I was in media, somebody brought this up, and I never heard it. That same day, John texted me about it, and I was like, gotta go.
So I gotta take it. It's the only means.
They see the street on it. It's actually.
We use, literally what we do is grab Illustrator for a 7-day free trial if we need it.
Draft something out.
That'll sound
They will get it done. I always say this, I don't pay, I'm not paying you, I'm just, you know. But it's,
You gotta cut costs, dude, I get it.
Dude, I love it, it's great.
I like the new logo.
Yeah, it's 15.
Brings in the old.
We had the old ones, so. Very big with the old ones.
It felt kind of.
But dude, because it was so small, like the wording,
But that's
couldn't print it on
you.
He sent it out to me.
like this
Small
is
form of flyer.
Yeah. So that's why, like, whenever we're designing
I didn't
logos
even
now,
think about
we
that.
always tell people, okay, think of like a solid background, you know, kind of.
And I'm sure y'all gonna hang.
Because we messed it up.
I would have never thought about that, honestly. I could see.
Jim?
People go, I like the word. It's like squiggles.
Yeah, so he would say, I'll do is change the date on the PDF.
So we started the south side.
And that's where you want
And we just like played around with it.
That explains why.
But that's.
So we're gonna basically
Makes sense.
run through it and just what the goal is.
What's that?
I was trying to show.
I like this.
I Googled it.
We'll definitely do a lot.
Did you put this together?
So if you have
And
a
then
Google
what we're
account,
gonna do is have everybody, I think you're already on this.
you can do it, so,
Yeah,
Once
that's,
it's
that's
snake,
originally how I did it.
we forbid from coming
or
to
you can
meetings.
sign in by.
That's what James told me right.
I have
But so we started it, so basically we're just gonna upload the meeting, the members, this is gonna be an updated thing, we're gonna update the member statement. We're gonna do a logo apply situation. Because we want it to be like, to where people do good things.
No, I like the idea of community services or.
You can always upgrade to the next level.
That's what
They're
I'm
gonna
saying.
send you emails saying,
Oh,
hey, how do you like it?
Yeah, and then bring
And
pictures
do you
like
want
that.
to-
Yes, that's fine.
But yeah, so I need to get this ready for next week's trivia night so that they can just send it, cause like we'll be
So
able to text
for
around
professional,
and
it's
check
like
out and sign up.
So I think professional.
I was, I'm at 130, I think I'm 130.
So I wanna say I just paid 128 or
They
something.
got me.
Oh, for Canva for the year?
Yeah.
I think, yeah, mine was like, something like that, I think it was like one.
She said she paid 130.
I think mine was 134.
They're getting it.
Yeah.
So they got it for an extra $5 or something.
Man.
So, but
I think that's what came up on my credit card bill.
If you're doing a lot of marketing materials, maybe $12, especially on the month, is not gonna be, for what you would pay to have to go get somebody to put these things together. And that's, and everything's drag and drop. It's-
So we will, so we
Yeah.
actually have, on March 1st, we have a class called The Power of Video in your, advertising. So, and that's gonna be a joint, meeting of all of the chambers. So Hopewell, George, Colonial Heights, Petersburg, and Dinwiddie will all be there. It's at Stroh-Snyder Chevrolet. It's from 8 a.m. till 9:30. And so we'll have coffee, donuts, and
When is it?
it's March 1st.
I'll be there, that's not bad for that.
Yep.
Yeah, it's exciting.
And we got Amy Garland, which owns Power Up Video, that will be presenting. And she's the one that does all of Kevin Stroh-Snyder's videos. So, if you've seen the Mr. Nobody Stroh-Snyder videos, she's the one that does all of those, so. And she's a startup company.
So just one thing that I found that I'm sure everybody else has found, and I know because you were talking about the free version, possibly trying it out. I will tell you what I ran into with the free version. So, and it probably didn't show up real good on the screen, but a lot of things you go to, they'll have a little gold
crown.
crown in the corner, which means that's the pro version item, and you can't use it unless you wanna pay for it. Now, the tricky part is that little crown hides on a lot of things, it doesn't make itself look very visible. So I've actually gone through, created a whole project, gone and downloaded it to print it out, and it'll say, you
You
owe me
can't
$4.
do it because you have to, yeah.
And I'm like, well, what do I owe $4 for? And I'll have to go backwards and try to figure out what I pulled and stuck in there, and it'll always come down to I picked a fancy font. Like typewritten, like I mean, and it's like $4. I'm like, I am not gonna do
For some
$4.
letters, yeah.
So, I mean, so just, I will say,
So I'm gonna be looking for that little.
just
little
hit the
crown.
little
It's the
crown.
little
Yes,
crown.
and I don't know if you can.
Can you zoom it in?
Because if you're not careful, man, I spent 2 hours.
See how it says pro?
Yeah, and it,
So unless you have Pro, you can't download that item, or you can download it. But you're gonna pay for it when you
Yeah.
get the final results.
And it's sometimes almost as much as
the
a
subscription.
monthly subscription. Yeah, so it's,
But where you get away with it is if you can talk to your church into doing the nonprofit free version and letting you be a team member on it, then you get it for free for the pro version.
So that's how the text works. So I, my organization, I can add.
Right.
Use the same
Because the
license.
pro version gives them 5 licenses basically.
Okay.
So that you can have a version, the administrative assistant can have a version. Like I share mine with my wife. So, and then I have my
And I can
marketing.
actually get it free
so you you can literally, you put together your team.
Right.
It's,
from the church.
Nice.
This looks very, very interesting.
Yeah, I gotta go.
And there's deeper dives that you can go into it because there's so many more capabilities that you can do with it. And he didn't even go over resizing and saving it as a different size. So let's say you're doing an 8.5 by 11 flyer, but you also want to do an 11 by 17 flyer. You can do both of those in here by doing the resize and save, by going into again, resize, and then bringing it down to 11 by 17, and then it'll blow up your page, and you can make the adjustments with your fonts and your logos and things like that to be able to.
So can you take that one, okay,
Correct.
and size it for Facebook,
Mhm.
after you've already created it?
Yeah, so what I would do right here, right? So I've got this here. I would, first of all, hit duplicate. So I want another Canva window, okay? Because I don't know the Facebook design dimensions.
Right.
But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go create a design, Facebook post, 940. You see I'm hovering and it says 940 by 788. And, okay, so I'm gonna come back here, resize, 940 by 788.
Oh, ta-da!
And then you just basically resize it.
And those are by pixels.
So it's
So,
like, yeah, you just,
Then you just resize everything.
that's exactly how I do it. And if it's a horizontal, I resize a bunch to other horizontals, but I don't switch from vertical to horizontal most of the time because it creates something like this to where it expands itself. But like vertical to vertical, it's all day long. It's super easy.
So the benefit of doing this is where I'm having to play with it in PDF and try to change the pixel size and everything else, and I'm worried about clarity going onto a Facebook post, for example, that will automatically size it. I keep my resolution, I drop it in my Facebook.
you don't drop out of anybody's picture that's in the picture, you know, in the
Yeah.
post and
The
things
fine
like that.
print.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, so I literally just go here and click create in Facebook post. It's right there.
Interesting, okay.
That's, yeah, it's super. And then after I do this, I create the design and then I go back in and then I resize it to Instagram. That's it.
And you can save your original design.
Yeah, and then copy or
And then
duplicate.
copy.
Yeah.
How did you do it? You said something about it, it said
So if I'm
something like a duplicate, how did you do that?
That was like a window thing. So like if,
Oh,
so.
it wasn't a Canva thing.
No, it wasn't a
I gotcha.
Canva thing. I literally, I just do that because otherwise I'm not gonna be able to get out, but like,
Did
let's
you
say.
right click?
No, yes, yeah,
Okay.
I'm right clicking and I'm
Gotcha.
just duplicating the
Okay.
entire thing. But
So can you take that original?
It's nice it picks
Go
up
ahead.
on your design in the duplicate tabs though, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Like it saves the design you're working on, it's not.
Cause I'll copy and paste from window to window too.
And here's another thing you wanna do too, is before you download it, go up here to the title
Oh, yeah.
and change the name to what you want it to be. So, so, I mean, especially if you're using one of their templates, it'll say brownish, green,
Something, yeah.
whatever. And so when you download it, you're like, what is that?
Yeah.
So I save it and then I have to go back in and rename it.
Yeah.
So question, can you save that as a JPEG, copy it, and then go in to create a design and do Facebook, and then copy and paste it in?
Yes, it's not going to look, so at that point, once you make it into a JPEG and then bring it back, they're not individual elements.
Okay.
So it's gonna be a big thing that you're gonna stretch and then it's gonna,
Look awkward, okay.
Yeah.
Or it's gonna get cut off.
Yes.
or-
Okay.
yeah.
I was just thinking.
But so that's why I always do, because horizontal to horizontal rescale, like, okay, let me show you a rescale. I think this is horizontal. Yeah, okay. Horizontal, we're gonna resize this to, I don't know, 1800 by, I'll just do the same. So what I'm doing here, right, you see how it just brought a little bit different? So just, again, so I just hover over the whole thing. And then I drag it, and I make it bigger, and then now it fits. That's it. Don't resize the individual elements because it'll change the whole design again. You can just hover and just make the whole thing fit to the exact size you want. And it's awesome, like, so if you guys want to, we can go into like some of the command functions and stuff, but basically, so like for instance, this thing right here, if I want to take this and this holiday sign, what I'm going to do is click, shift, click, and now they're together, but there's still individual elements. Let's say I want to group them together. I'm gonna hit Command G, and now they are one thing. So now, we can make them as big as we want together. So like that's what I did when I hovered that whole thing. I just grouped them together and expanded the whole thing at once. So again, instead of individual elements, we move in and shuffle in, and I can just make it bigger.
Keep the same layout. for
Yeah.
sure.
And then if, let's say like this, okay, I don't want it to be grouped anymore, I wanna make an adjustment. I can either come to ungroup, which is, if once I ungroup it, it'll say group again, or Shift Command G, and we are ungrouped again. So that's a really cool way, and the cool thing too is, so look at this. So let's say, man, I hate this color, I wanna do whatever color. Now that I highlighted all of it, it'll update all of the wording, any of the wording, things like that together. The element itself, a lot of times you do have to individually do it, but if you wanna do like a whole paragraph, you wanna do anything like that, just bring it all in together, highlight it, and then you can move it into the document colors, like different colors. And then again, the colors from the logo are right here. So again, it just shows you right there. Like I don't even have to change anything. Those are my branding colors.
And when you're uploading something in, it typically picks up on those colors and will put it into the branding bar.
Like
So,
this photo right here, these are all the colors from that photo. Which is, it's nuts that I can pull it.
That's cool.
Stuff. Yeah, so like, for
I
instance.
never recognized that before. Even though I've done it, I didn't recognize that those were those colors.
And it's a good way to integrate your brand in them. So like for instance, these two colors are very similar. So I'm gonna try my best to bring that and then put my brand green here so that it transitions into my brand. Just odd things there, but that's just another way that you can just, this is together, this is seamless. You know, there's not a harsh line here between, oh, I know this is a stock image and stuff like that. So that's where you kind of bring things together.
and another thing that we have to get on some of the people that do their publisher a lot is, y'all remember seeing the,
I think it's grouped right now.
is it group?
Oh, no, it's not.
Or undo.
So here, where it's got these bars here to stretch it out, don't do that. Because if you're in a picture and you've got that, you're going to oblong it, or you're gonna make it into an egg if it's a circle, and things like that. Always pull from the corners if you're just trying to make your pictures bigger. So,
Same thing with logos, because it'll stretch them like, it'll make them look so bad. Yeah. Alright, so that's a good, I'm trying to think of some other, okay, so what I'm a big fan of too are, so let's say that we want a better gradient. Like this one right here, I'm gonna put this over top of here, but look, you can't see the difference, right? Like the contrast is not very good. So a lot of times what we'll do, we'll come over here and then go up to effects. And then I like either shadow or lift. And it's a really good way to lift it off the page a little bit better. So therefore it makes it easier to read. So again, now you can see the little bit of the backdrop. It's a good way to do that. But at the same time, that contrast is still not good enough for me because it doesn't look, exactly the way I want it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come up here to transparency. And I'm gonna lessen some of that transparency so this thing shines through a little bit better. And then what I'm gonna do is again, so right now it's picking up on this harsh, like the lighter background. Let's say, again, we wanted our branded colors. Now it's branded as well. So it's just kind of really understanding that, but not only now they can see this, but this green looks even closer to this green now because we've made it transparent. This, again, these are real subtle things, just design elements that more or less look nice. But that's, again, you can click on these things and click what's called effects. Let me show you guys one other. So are you guys familiar with the background remover? this one's real fun, and you can put people places and do things, craziness, you know, it's funny. Okay, so like for instance, here we go. Okay, so we want to take these people out of this photo and put them on a wave or something. So we're just literally going to click here, edit image, and BG remover. It does it automatically for us. Like, it is so cool. And literally, we are going to be able to take this and just move it wherever we want.
And if you've got an iPhone, your iPhone can do it too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and you can do this, and like for instance, we did a design, like when we were at the bank, we took us out of the background and we were writing like a debit card like through the thing and stuff like that. So again, so now it didn't do exactly what it normally does, but you see how we have them? So now we can really do whatever we want. And on top of that, I can throw people in the background. So I'm just bringing it over, and I'm going to touch the background. So again, I can do, you know, you can really change and alter what's going on in the background. But a lot of times these things work a lot better if you do like certain types of photos.
Yeah, that's pro version to background removal, right?
Yeah.
but again, if you've got an iPhone, you can do it, and then you can upload it into Canva. Yeah, it's kind of what I did to Brody's picture.
Oh, I was what? Yeah. Yeah, that's perfect.
And so I took Brody's picture from off of another event he was at, and I held my finger down on his picture on the iPhone, and it pulled his picture out of the background and stuff and got rid of the background automatically. And I was able to fit his picture into my flyer in Canva. So,
Wow.
So what I'm going to show you guys as well, do you guys know how to print transparent backgrounds? Okay, so now that we do the transparent stuff, we've got to think about logos and stuff like that. So like for instance, your logo, let's do, this one. If there was a white block behind this, how great would that site look, you know? It wouldn't, so what we're gonna do is remove it. So therefore, so like for instance, this is a white, like right here in this blue. If it was clear in that, we would see the background. So you gotta be careful with that, because that is a way, because like with our old logo, it looks awful and stuff like this because you can't see it at all. So just, you really wanna understand how your logo is, and that goes a long way and where you can put it and stuff like that. But what we'll do, I'm just gonna design a logo real quick and show you guys kinda, so again, creative design, I'm gonna type in logo. And then I'm just gonna grab a design that's up here, this one. No, it's gonna be funky. So that one I know is gonna be weird already, so I'm gonna do this one. Because I know it's gonna be weird because there was that gap. So this right here, I'm afraid when I remove it, it might, actually it might not, let's try it. Okay, so what I'm doing beforehand, because it looks like these are individual elements, I'm going to grab all of them and I'm gonna group them. So therefore, now that they're grouped, I'm gonna remove the rest of it, okay? This is just making sure that it comes together, because otherwise we're not gonna be able to remove the background the way we want it. Actually, we don't even have to remove the background, they're already together. So what I'm gonna do is hit share, download, and since I am in PNG, so JPEG does not have this option. You cannot do this in JPEG, and this is why I go PNG to WebP. Exactly why. So I'm gonna click on transparent background right here. This is a pro version, but again, you'll be good to go with all of that. It's nothing crazy there. And so what you'll do is transparent background and download. So what it's gonna do is we are not gonna see that red. The red's gonna be gone. See that? So now we can take this and it's gonna look really cool on our website and not, And look at this, so there's even, this black design right here comes all the way around, and it filled in itself because we hit the group. If I didn't hit group, it would have jacked it all up, to be honest. But that's a transparent background that looks really nice. But, again, you gotta make sure that this is a really good contrast, because if I put this on a white background, you know, it'll look good, but it's gonna be different. So just making sure you do that. But then at the same time, it looks as if, okay, so now, okay, and this is again a different kind of tip, just to, but let's say we wanted to do, so we were gonna put this on a black background. It would not look that great on a black background, but maybe what we'll wanna do is more of like a gray. Yeah, you can do anything. And it should, basically, we'll go through it. Let's see. Yeah, so it's doing individual elements. So we just go through the individual elements and update it. When you're doing it.
And all these things he's doing on here, when we had our t-shirt business, we spent $1,000 on a program just to be able to manipulate logos like this.
Yeah.
Really?
And so,
Yeah.
I mean, and it was Corel Draw.
Mm-hmm.
And so we spent $1,000 on the program just so that we could manipulate logos.
And to vector it.
Oh,
And
really?
so
So you would, Canva, yeah.
it, you know, for $130, you know, you're getting the power of what people have paid thousands and thousands of dollars with Adobe Illustrator and
Plus, when you send it out to have your design made on your shirts and stuff like that, they charge you to vector it.
yeah.
So when you send them the vectored art, then they can't charge you for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is,
So,
yeah. But it's, and it's just,
Because you put your
sky's the
logo on
limit
it,
with
you
this
send it
stuff.
to them vectored, then
I'm trying to think,
they won't charge you for that.
can you think of any other design elements? Haley and I designed a lot of just, we'll be sitting in front of the TV, hey man, let's do this crazy design, and we'll just be sitting there both on our laptop. But yeah, it just kind of, I think the transparent background is really big. Just kind of, oh, okay, another thing, you know, PowerPoint presentation and stuff like that? Canva presentation. You can do presentations in here, make it into a URL that you send to somebody. So it's not, no longer you have to, it's, here, I'll show you.
No longer emailing them.
You don't, yep,
Existing
exactly.
everybody.
Yeah, you just do the file itself.
Because PowerPoint's huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because a lot of times people will have to put it in the drive or something like that.
and then if they don't have Microsoft,
Exactly.
Right.
or, you know, or if they have Google Slides, or they have,
Then everything's misaligned.
yeah.
It's worse.
Yep. So like,
And so you create your annual report in here too,
yep.
a book.
Wow. I actually used the presentation to do thank you slides for our auction and listed all the vendors, and I actually added, like little twinkle stars, so it kinda like brought their attention to it, I added music to it.
That's,
Posted it on Facebook, and then it ran on a big screen in the American Legion building as people went through and looked at the auction items, and it just was on a loop. And every vendor could look up and see their name was up there on the big screen because they donated items.
that's awesome.
And then we did gold and platinum and silver level, and we gave them their own slide with their logo flashing up there.
See, and that's kind of the thing that we're going to for our sponsors,
Okay.
is we're making them their logos on Canva, and then we'll take and put it on we've got 3 or 4 different LCD projectors, and we're gonna put their logos in the LCD projector and just have it shining on walls, and just having it going through a USB stick, and having it going through for them to feel like they got more on their money. But it didn't cost us
Yeah. That's fun.
any more, but it adds value to them because their logo is shining on the wall. So,
You know, if somebody sends you their logo, so I'm just thinking, sure, I should be in B&T Towing. She's always a sponsor for Kiwanis because she's in Kiwanis. Every time her daggone background, it looks like a sticker.
Just, I've got hers, just send
Okay.
yeah, literally, next time you need, yes, same thing,
I have it free and cut that sucker out.
I updated that one. If you,
Okay.
next time, just, I got that one. But yeah, okay, so, but what I would do, what I normally do is I come to Canva first, see if I can remove the background. If I can't, then I'm gonna still go into Canva, but you know how, I'll just, you can do an upload. So we're gonna do a background remover.
See, I didn't play with the background remover, so that's why I wondered if it would do, will that work for uploads too?
It does work a lot for the uploads.
Okay.
So, again, it's all in the quality of the logo that you get.
Right.
Yeah.
So if they just right-clicked on their website
Yeah.
or off of like a thumbnail,
Okay.
and you upload that into it,
It's not gonna work.
it's gonna be gradient trash when you bring it into Canva. So,
But
I had to do that for several of the sponsors, because they didn't send me their logos, so I had to go to their websites and change them.
yeah, that's
So I figured they paid us so I could make a copy of their logo.
Oh yeah. Well, and this right here, so I don't know if you guys noticed, I tried to remove this background and it wouldn't work. So there's always the manual method with this as well. So I can literally come through and I'm removing the background right now.
Yeah, that's what I did.
It's not great, but it works, and I did that with Trisha's,
Okay.
to be honest, like just to get it like the exact way I wanted, because now we had to get it, because I converted to WebP with that one, and
Okay.
like got it like, but yeah, that would be a way to do it, but yeah, going for it, I got that one.
and there are free vectorizers online. You can type in free vectoring. And so you can upload a logo and it'll send it back in a clean PNG. Because all they're doing is they're taking it into that $1,000 program and removing backgrounds and things like that.
Yeah, that would be, I'm trying to think, yeah, presentations are good,
Did you share the presentation? What's that?
Yeah,
Is
okay.
that where the URL comes in?
So what we're gonna do, so again, I'm gonna hit present, and actually, I'm gonna hit share, I'm sorry. Then present, no, that's not it either. Oh, here we go, so you go to view only link. Here.
Oh,
And
nice.
now, it just comes up like this, and you can just send it to them. And then you just give them access to view it and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
And it'll go through everything just like normal. But again, this is a template annual report design with 25 pages that we just clicked on. You know, like that's how quick they are with it. We've done ebooks this way, we've done infographics, a good way to, a lot of times if you're trying to get customer information, you know, just helpful things. A nice infographic goes a long way, because they can download it, give them some helpful information, they give you back their information. But an infographic in Canva is super easy to do, and it looks really nice, and it's informational. It's kind of like checking all the boxes, but you definitely a lot of downloads for that.
But it's a way that Front Door Realty can step out and make their presentations to a house buyer different.
Right.
You know, especially if you make up booklets for that house and you put that in their hand, because they're going to look at 5 different houses that day.
Right.
They can remember, oh, the bedroom was nice in this, or the
Yeah.
kitchen was incredible in this, or, so.
Yeah, you can do a whole lot.
I mean, and you can do it for fairly cheap, because you take and send it to George, and he prints it out, and it's $1.50 a page versus trying to print it out on an inkjet printer,
Yeah.
and it'd be nasty, you know, presentation.
Like this right here is just a real estate one, so it looks like this is the house details, and they automatically just put it out there. So I mean, real estate especially they have a whole lot of stuff. They have a lot of stuff for churches, like really good stuff for churches too.
And I want to say a real estate company actually was the first investors into Canva to start the presentation. So,
It's crazy what you can do. Yeah, and church, there's a lot of church stuff. You can do,
there's crosses, there's, I mean, there's, you
They
know,
have a really nice one for Easter.
for every holiday and things like that.
Used to do mailers and postcards to invite people.
and like, that was a great point with holidays. So for instance, I mean, you guys have seen it. Holiday stuff, it just takes a lot. It really does to kind of get it all the way you want it to go. But let's say it's.
Pull up St. Patrick's Day,
Yeah, there we
since
go.
that's the next one.
Literally, what I'm gonna do, actually, this isn't the Facebook. Hang on, sorry. And you see all these designs, it just scrolls and scrolls. But what I'm gonna do, right? So I grab one of these, but okay, St. Patrick's Day, it's green, so you can't really change too much. But we're still gonna throw our branding in there because this is ours. You know, we want them to understand. So I go through this thing with that in mind. Like this one right here, I'm not gonna be able to change anything because it's green in the background and it's not gonna be my brand. So I'm looking for something here, and you're going through it, thinking, this one right here, I bet you I could do something with. It's got a bunch of different elements. I'm gonna take this background, and we happen to have a nice green. So, let's see. So this right here, because ours is green.
Seeing there's that tear sheet that you.
Mm-hmm.
So again, really simple stuff here, but I'm just updating, and then I'm going to font, I'm going to our specific font. Yep. And then I like the bolded version of this, I just bold it. And now, it is brand integrity, but the last thing that we always do, again, really kind of, it's like every time, but bottom right.
It's like signing your
Yep.
checks.
No matter what. And so now we took a design that they gave us, branded it our way, and now this is integrity marketing. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
It's amazing putting that logo in the bottom corner. I mean, it just makes a big difference.
And then I think you can actually lock it in there too,
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
it can't be moved anywhere.
Then you just click on that and then lock, top right. So now I can't mess with that. And a lot of times when we do social media, so the next holiday, I'm just gonna come right here, duplicate. And then I'm going to, this thing's already locked. I'm gonna go to the design, I'm gonna say Halloween, and I'm gonna brand it. Then I'm gonna say Christmas, and I'm gonna brand it. That's it. It's really that, you know, because social media is a lot. You gotta always be on it, you gotta continuously put stuff out. This is a good way to mitigate that. And plus, for the whole year, you can go ahead and, okay, I've got my post ready for the whole year. You can predict holidays.
Whatever day it is.
Yeah, just boom, ready to go. And exactly, so that was my next point. So like a bunch of them, like there's National Chocolate Day. I'm pretty sure there's designs in here for that. They have a lot of different national holidays, so that's a really good social media idea, and especially you can tie everything back. You know, like, hey, it's April 1st, we're gonna bring it, you know, I'm not fooling you with the home prices, or the home rates, you know, like, you can do all sorts of things, but that's what you're doing.
Yes.
And you can easily use these things to kind of craft your message while it's branded and stuff like that.